Okay, so I still get lots of questions about this body turn and having the character rig at the same time. And it's actually really difficult to do. If you want to have a character that turns and is rigged at all times, it's better to just do it in a 3D program and just learn 3D because MOHO and Anime Studio aren't really meant to do that. It's possible, but I'm going to show you how to at least make different rig characters using the body turn you've created. So it's somewhat of a solution, but you guys will just have to check this out and see if it's something that you might want to use. So I have a friend on Facebook. His name's Faze Rami. I don't know if I pronounced that right. He's in Germany, and we've only talked on Facebook. But he had the brilliant idea of just taking this body turn and using the different poses to create different rigs. So I'm going to start off. Here's my Batman character that I created. And he's got the turn and everything in it already. So you can't really rig a character to do this type of turn also at the same time because I'll go ahead and rig him in his front view real quick. So I'm going to hit B and then click on the canvas so no bones are selected. Then I'm going to click Add Bones and I'll rig him just as normal, or as I normally would. So there's a waist bone, and then lower torso, then upper torso, and then the head. Then I'm going to click B, select the upper torso bone, and hit A. And I'll go ahead and make a shoulder bone, and then just keep adding to the elbow, wrist, and the hand. I'll hit B again to select the upper torso bone, hit A so I can add another bone. Make another shoulder bone, left click and drag to the elbow, wrist, and hand. Then I'll hit B, select the waist bone so we can start doing the legs, and I'll hit A and add a bone to the knee, to the ankle, to the foot, and then B, select the waist bone again and hit A, and from the hip to the knee, to the ankle, to the foot. So now we have the basic rig right here. So now we have to connect everything. And first thing I'll do is I'll hit B, and I'm going to select the left side, or his right side, those bones. And I'll go ahead and select the left arm. And then I'm just going to go up here. You don't have to do this, but I just want to make sure that I have the right piece of art. So I'm going to hit Command A just so I know that these points are selected. And I'm going to go to Bone and say use selected bones for flexi binding. Now if I hit Z and move this around, you can see it's connected to just that arm, but it is pulling on the leg and stuff, but that's just because these other bones haven't been assigned yet. So let's go back, and actually while we're on frame 0, let's go ahead, go to the bone layer and hit Command A, and then the bone strength, we'll click on that and just pull this down so it's not so covers the least amount on the body. And actually I'll hit B, turn the bone strength down on the waist completely, and maybe turn the torso up a little bit just to fill out his body. So let's go and do the other parts of the body. I'm just going to do the limbs first. So I'll hit B, I'll select the his right leg, but yeah, I called it the left leg. I'm going to hit Command A. Just, you don't have to select them. I'm just doing that so I know I have the right piece of artwork. So we want these bones to control this piece of artwork. So we'll go to Bone, use selected bones for flexi binding. We'll hit B, select these bones, select the other leg, the right leg. Command A. Again, you don't have to do that. And use selected bones for flexi binding. Then I'll hit B and select these arm bones. And I'm holding shift down so I can select multiple ones. And we'll select the left arm, or right arm. I didn't label these right. So again, I can select the points, but just to show you that it works without it, you don't have to select those points. Go to bone, use selected bones for flexi binding. If I hit Z, you can see it's grabbing that arm. Now, it's okay that he looks funky. His torso isn't rigged yet, so that's why all these parts are looking weird. So let's go ahead and go back to frame 0, and I am going to use point binding now. So we'll go back to the bone layer. I'm going to hit B, select the waist. I'll select all, and this, you do have to select the points for this one. So select all, hit B, or hit B, select the bone, and then the points, Command A. So the bone's selected and the waist, and this time we're going to hit bind points tool and then click bind points up here. Then I'm going to hit B and select the bottom torso. And actually with the waist selected, I do want to have this bone control the top of the waist. So we'll just grab those points at the very top right there and bind those to this bone instead. So that's going to override the waist, the points that were assigned to the waist bone first. And then we're going to go to the torso. I'll hit G and then left click and drag across just the bottom part of his torso and hit bind points. And also, if you've watched the other video, I have chest artwork. So this artwork on the is kind of in front of the body. So we'll hit G and select just these points here and bind points. And then we'll hit B. Now I'm going to select the upper torso and hit G. I'm going to select the top parts of that chest artwork, bind those points, and I got to go back to the torso. And with that top torso bone selected, I'll hit G and select the top part of the torso and bind those points. And you can see I've also selected the neck there. It's going to be overridden once again if I hit B and select this head bone and I hit G and grab those points up here and rebind. That's going to control the top of the torso now. And then for the face and head, I need to, if I hit Z and show you, these are all connected right now, and this is flexi bound, his head, so it warps. I want to point bind his head too. So let's go to his face. I'm going to hit Command A, and what I'm doing is selecting all of the parts. So I'm going to do Command A, that selects all of the face parts. Right ear, Command A, selecting all of his ear. Command A, left ear, Command A, and the shape of his head. And now, because they've all been selected, if I go through the layers, you can see they're still selected. And the head bone is selected as well, so we'll go to the face, bind points, right ear, click bind points, left ear, bind points, and head, bind points. So now if I hit Z, his head actually doesn't deform. They're all bound to that head bone, but you can see his neck's not moving right. So let's bind. It's called the front. It's just the front part of his cape. So we need to go to the front, and I'll grab those, hit G, select those top bones, points, bind that. Then I think I need to bind, let's see, let me hit Z. Okay, the shoulder bones, they're not going to move this much. I'll restrain those a little bit, but we need it to, let's hit B and select this shoulder. So I'm going to hit G and select all of these points on the front part of his cape and bind those. And I'll also go into the torso, and I hit G, and I'm just going to grab these points on this side of the torso because I want those to stretch with his arm and his shoulder. So you can see now these points are now bound to that shoulder. So we get that stretching there. So the arm doesn't look like it's disconnecting. We'll do the same over on this side. I hit B, select that bone. We'll select the front piece of artwork again and hit G, and we'll just grab those shoulder points again, like that. And actually, I think I might take this point out. So I'm just going to delete that. G and bind points, and then also go back down to the torso, hit G, and I'm just going to grab those points on the side of his torso and connect those. So I'll bind points again. So now his shoulder Shoulders are connected, his head's connected, and torso is moving correctly, and his arms. Now, I just put shoulders in there, and obviously they wouldn't move down that much. You just want enough to shoulder shrug. So we'll go back to frame 0. I'm going to hit B. I'll select this bone. Oh, make sure you're on the bone layer. And then hold Shift down and select this other shoulder. So you have both of those picked. We'll go to bone constraints and do angle constraints. And I'm just going to go, I'll type in -10 and 10. And that way, if I hit Z, they only move up a little bit, up and down a little bit, because your shoulders really don't have that much rotation, as it were. So that is the basic rigging for the front of the character. Now obviously I'm going to have to go in here and fix his arms with smart bone actions, and I will do that at the end of the video. But I wanted to show you that you know, we can rig the character and he can move, but now the problem with this becomes when you're in the timeline and you rotate, the bones won't rotate with it, and you cannot move the bones in the smart bone action of the turn, because it will actually move the artwork itself as well. So that's the big problem. So if I turn this, now if I grab these bones, they're going to deform really bad. So if I turn to the side and start manipulating him, you can see this is a big problem because it doesn't work anymore. The rig is broken. So we have a front pose, and you want to be able to use this body turn to create other poses. So FaZe came up with this really good idea. He said, why don't you just take the positions and use those as your starting points for other rigs. So we have our body turn character, and this can be used as our front position. But say we want to make another like a 3/4 position. I'm going to move Batman over here, and I'm just going to duplicate the entire thing. So I'll call this 3/4 turn rigged, and I'll move the layer over, and I'm going to go ahead and double click, make sure the actions is open for this other pose. We'll go to Window, Actions, and double click his body turn. Now we want a character that's rigged and he's turned at a 3/4 position like this. So what we need to do is go ahead and open up his layers, and all of his positions for the 3/4 turn are on frame 12. So we need to go to the face, and actually let's go ahead and highlight all of the points. So on his face I'm going to do a Command A, right ear Command A, left ear Command A, and those are already selected because I did that on the first character, or I mean the first model. And the front, Command A, right arm Command A, right knee Command A, right leg Command A, and just keep going down the entire portion of the character, or all the layers of the character, like that. So they're all selected. Now what we need to do is I'm going to go back to the first layer, which is the face. I'm going to highlight frame 12. I'm going to do a Command C, which is copying these frames. And then I'm going to go to frame 0 and do a Command V, and that's going to paste it. And that one was hard to see, but it actually changed the 0 frame to the turned position. So if I go to the right ear, select frame 12, and the pointer is still on frame 0, we can do a Command V and a Command C and a Command V, and that changes the ear position. Left ear, select frame 12, Command C, Command V, copy and paste. Head, select frame 12, copy and paste, and you can see the character starting to turn. The front of his cape, frame 12, Command C, Command V, copy and paste, and you can see it's turning everything. So now you'll be really able to tell with the arms. I will select the 12th frame in the action, copy and paste, goes to frame 0. And as I do this, the copying of frame 12 and pasting on frame 0, you can see the entire character starts to turn. Copying the frames from frame 12 and then pasting. Select, copy, paste. Select, copy, paste. And I don't have to move the timeline because it's on frame 0. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Copy, paste, and copy, paste. So it doesn't take too long to do this. And now we have our entire character is turned to the side. So now what we want to do is make sure your character is completely turned before you do this. And we'll go back to the main timeline. So we'll double click on the main timeline. And I'm going to get rid of the body turn bone, just to make sure that we know that it's not a body turn. Now it's just a rigged character from that perspective. So I'll hit B, I'll select the bone and hit delete. And that deletes all of his body turn movements there. But because we rigged the character before we duplicated this, I can go ahead and hit T, and I'm going to readjust these bones. I hit T and I'm grabbing the bones, and you can see they snap to the end positions because they were already rigged. And I'm just going to reposition these a little bit to where they should be. The torso and head are still in the right place. We'll foreshorten his shoulder on the side since he's turned, and snap that into place. Make sure this joint is at his elbow. Turn that, and that's in the right place pretty much. We'll move his hip bone on this leg and make sure that it goes to his knee, and then his foot and ankle. We can even extend this a little bit and turn this bone and turn this towards his foot like that. And because it's a duplicate, this character is rigged already. His shoulder is rigged correctly. His arm is funky, but again, this is something that can be fixed with smart bones, and I'll do that at the end of the video. But this arm is in the right place. He's still rigged in the same way as we did the first character. His legs are rigged correctly. So all we need to do now is adjust the smart bone actions to make sure he looks okay. And we're going to do this one more time. So again, I'll grab the body turn, the original, duplicate it. I'll call this side view. Transform layer, I'll just move this guy over, and we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to open his layers up, and I'm going to select everything. His face and all of his face parts are going to be selected already, but let's just double check. Face, right ear, left ear, head and front. Oops, head and then front. We'll do Command A, right arm, Command A, right knee, Command A, and keep doing that down the entire list. And then we'll double click his body turn, action. And then we want frame 24 because he's turned to the side, right there. We'll go to the top again, select his face, and we will Command C, copy, go to frame 0, paste, Command V. You can see it's moved his face all the way over, and right ear, select the frames, copy and paste, and keep going down the layers. Make sure they're all, you're selecting frame 24 on all of them. Command C, Command V. And that's slowly going to turn our character to the side. Frame 24, copy, paste. Frame 24, copy, paste. And you can see he's turning. or his artwork is turning. Everything's masked and stuff, all that stuff already, so you don't have to redo anything like that. And it's a fairly quick process. It's not as bad as you would think. So I'll keep doing that. So now our Batman's completely turned. We've made sure that all of his artwork's turned the way we want it to be. So we'll double click back into the main timeline. And I'll collapse the layers for a second. And make sure I select this bone. So I'll hit B, select it, and then delete, because that's going to delete the actions. Because we're just having different rigs made, not the turn. And then let's go ahead and reposition. His waist and torso and head are still in the correct place, but now we need to move the arms and legs. So I'll hit T, grab his shoulder, move it over here, turn it, and we can actually foreshorten that up to there, and then grab this bone and it'll snap into place. We'll turn that. The rotation is, you just rotate by clicking in the middle of the bones. And rotate his wrist bone. We can actually extend that and then snap it. And let's go ahead and foreshorten this shoulder bone before we move it, clicking on the very end, making it smaller. Then we'll click the end of this bone and snap it into place. Grab the end of this shoulder and snap that kind of in the same area, same place as the other one, because these should be perfectly parallel. Oops. Let me undo. Zoom in here. See if that's the right size. It's not quite. Let's shrink it a little bit. We'll turn it so it's right about the same place. Snap that bone into place and turn the elbow and hand like that. And then grab the leg bone, either one, and just put it kind of right there where it should be. Rotate it to the middle of the leg, to the knee, and to the foot. We'll extend this down a little bit and bring this out. I'll kind of line these up and put that second one in place. Shorten it just a little bit because his foot in the back is up a little bit more, and then extend that out. Now we have our character rigged from the side. And again, because we rigged it already, he's ready to go. His arms and legs are already rigged. And I know I keep saying this, but again, we just need to fix the smart bone actions for his arms and stuff, and his legs. And his knee, I had separate parts for his knee, and that doesn't work, so I'm going to erase those. But now we have 3 characters, the same character, so we can use those in different shots, and they're ready to go. So I can, if I want to do a different, let's say you're animating and you have Batman walking forward, and then you want to switch to another scene, all you have to do is, have him animated, talking or whatever, go to whatever frame you want to switch at, and then double click that model, hide him, uncheck visible, and apply. And then we'll go ahead and do side view and apply. Oops. I need to hide him from the beginning, so we'll go here on frame 0, hide him, and then on 72, where he disappears, double click side view and make him visible. Okay, so say you have a shot of Batman walking or talking, and then all of a sudden you want the next scene him to be at a side view talking to somebody. He appears there, ready to go, and we can have him zoomed in talking or doing whatever. So you have that same character in different positions. And like I said, these are all, they're rigged, so it's gonna be pretty easy for you to create other poses or different positions with that body turn. And that's the best solution I can come up with as far as having a character in different positions for you guys. And again, you know, if you're wanting a complex character that spins and has full rigged hands and movements and stuff like that, you really shouldn't be using Anime Studio or MOHO. You should be using a 3D program. You can look into Blender because that's free. There's Maya and other programs like that. So that would be my suggestion as far as if you want something that complex. But I think this will be good for you guys if you want to have some rigged characters with different positions. It's pretty easy to make, and I hope this helps you guys out. Like I said, you can do it, but it's very, very complex. If you haven't mastered just animating a character in one position, you definitely shouldn't try and get into 3D spin turns and things like that. But I think this is I think it's a decent solution. I hope it is for you guys. You know, because like this side character, now that you have him rigged, if I had it, his smart bones working, just pretend his his knee isn't just floating in space. We're just gonna make a quick walk cycle. So I'll put him in a stride. I'll go to frame 12. I'm going to turn onion skins on so I can see where he is. Go to frame 12. I'll swap the legs this way. And Command A, Command F to freeze all the frames. And then I will copy and I'll copy and paste frame 1 to frame 24. And then let's see, the back leg goes forward first, so I'm going to grab that back leg, hit Z. Oh, wrong one. Bend his knee there. And I'm going to bend his elbow just a little bit. Freeze those frames. Command A, Command F, and 18, hit C, bend that front leg, and if I can, that's gonna be tricky. I could hide. Oh man, that's tricky. There we go. I'm just bending his elbow a little bit. So we got that going on. And then I will grab the entire layer, create a keyframe. I'm just showing you really quick that you can have your character animated in several different angles. To copy. Okay. And we'll cycle that. Turn off onion skins. Oops. So you can see just in just a few minutes I've created a character that's facing sideways and created a walk cycle in just a couple of minutes. Or not a couple minutes, but fairly fast. And it would take a little longer, and I know I've said this several times in this video, but I'd have to make sure that the smart bones and his body's moving correctly. So I have a walk cycle already. Again, I can switch to another character, having him in 3/4 view. Have him in the camera talking there. And yeah, It's a pretty, I don't know, easy solution for what you guys might want. It's the best that I can come up with. There are lots of there are characters that are rigged for body turns, but what you need to do is have every part rotate on its own axis. So if just let's see if there's some other characters in here. Import characters. Let's go to one of the, let's see the space woman if she's turnable. Let's look at her rig real quick. I know there's one in here. I think there's one. Anime Studio 10. Scarlet. I'm pretty sure she has not a full body turn, but you can see if you go into, I think this is Victor's rig. Yeah, she turns 3/4 view to front to 3/4 view this way, with some layer ordering and things like that. And she has a head turn from left to right, and I think her feet turn too. Oops. But not a full 360 degree turn. So maybe someday I am trying to make a character to do a full 360 turn ambi rig, but it's really difficult, and it kind of takes away from the art style in a way. I mean, it has to be really, really good, and I'm not that good of an artist to make it look awesome. So for now, I think this should at least I think this should really, really help you guys out. So if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. Again, sorry I can't make a 360 fully rigged complex character, but again, I think that's something that's best left to 3D programs. So yeah, that's it. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below.